Welcome to A.U.M. We are live, and I'm your host, Callie Fedesinko of Callie Collective, a digital marketing agency designed to build relationships between financial advisors and their target audience through data-driven custom content, websites, and advertising. Our episode today is brought to you by the Financial Planning Association, otherwise known as the FPA. The FPA is a great resource center providing education, support, and networking opportunities for financial advisors like you. So here's a question for you. What are clients buying from you? I mean, like really buying. Are they buying investment management and financial plans? Or are they buying the freedom from the time it takes to learn and manage investments and planning? Lifestyle marketing isn't about selling what you do day to day for clients. It's about selling the lifestyle that your client is working with you to achieve. Today, we're talking with Kim Skirmer about the difference she's seen with her clients who use lifestyle marketing compared to those who don't. Now, wait, why do you care what Kim has to say? Let me tell you. Kim has 2 decades of experience in mentoring, training small business teams, facilitating seminars, and accumulating over 26,000 professional coaching hours. Kim has become an expert in guiding ambitious individuals like you to reach their peak performance, and she's sharing some of her insights with us today. And also, I'm wearing this jacket because of Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hello, and I've got my gardening stuff in the background, and please excuse them. I'm sitting in a lawn chair even. So we're in the middle of building our advisor resource center in our studio. So I have no internet in the other office. So I had to come here under construction and kind of share some of my potting soil mix with you, I guess, apparently.
Yes. So for our audience, Kim and I both love gardening.
We do.
We bonded over it. Bonded over dahlias.
We have bonded over dahlias. I actually even bought some for you, Callie. I really definitely did. And it's so funny. Every time I say Callie, I think of my beloved little girl, the puppy dog. That her name is Callie.
I love it.
Yeah.
Although I will say, usually I hear, oh, my cat's name is Callie. And then I'm always like, oh, it's a calico, isn't it? And they always say
yes.
Yes. So Kim, 26,000 coaching hours.
Yeah. And I just clocked over 27,000 now, the new number. And that's a lot of incredible experience, incredible lessons, lumps, bumps, triumphs, a whole bunch of pieces. And I kind of get little butterflies and excitement when you read or when people read that number or when I hear my introduction, because I love this industry so much. And it is so much over the 2 decades, the 27,000 hours that have been tracked. And that's just the tracked hours. And me coming confidently forward and saying, everything a financial advisor does is completely beyond the product they sell. And it's true with any industry, especially though when you are giving advice for a living. Yeah. Right? It's beyond the product you sell. So how do you connect? How do you share stories? How do you do all this?
Yes.
And also bring in the important part afterwards of the afterthought of being the financial product that protects all of these stories, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So for our audience, I'm going to define lifestyle marketing. So lifestyle marketing is creating a sense of connection between the consumer and the product by emphasizing the lifestyle that the product can help to create or improve. So I immediately think of Rolex, right? And you're not buying a watch, you're buying an image or the epitome of luxury and the image of success. Let's talk about your experience with your client who you created some lifestyle content for, because I know you have a very specific story about the results you saw.
I do. So when I left, so my background, I was in senior management in financial services. So that's where I ended my career on the corporate side. So senior executive, senior management, but I've always coached. And I've always been deeply involved with coaching, with coming forward with bringing marketing and connection, right? So when I started my own practice 3 years ago and opening it up, I had to do some testing. So people think I am an A-type, very driven person. I actually am more analytical.
Mm,
So I
okay.
love data. And then I show up confidently where people mistake me being this driven A-type. So I
Mm-hmm.
interviewed over 200 advisors in the beginning, and I asked, what do you want? What are you looking for? If you confidently knew your voice was going to be heard about the culture in the industry, what would you say? Why did you join the industry? Why are you still in it today? And getting all that feedback in that conversation helped me build a whole bunch of pillars within my business on my
Mm-hmm.
offering. And then
Mm-hmm.
how to connect with the advisors, because it's a very interesting dynamic, right? There's so many different ways an advisor can be attached to distribution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So by looking at some of their pains, problem, needs, and gaps, as we talk about when we do marketing for client or for advisors and helping them, one of their big pains were, how do I show up this way? Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I got a tickle in my throat. Excuse me. How do I show up where I can actually connect, truly
Yeah.
connect? And so part of the pillars was to have a marketing arm eventually within the approach coaching method, where I would be
Mm-hmm.
bringing in experts such as you
Mm-hmm.
to come in and do customized content marketing for advisors. But
Right.
there's all
Yeah.
these extra pillars that have to come in, right? Because
Right.
they can't 100% use nothing but your content. You have to do a
Right.
mix.
Right.
So we beta tested a whole bunch of pieces. And one that we beta tested, there was a whole bunch, but one that was particularly interesting is one that we did was of a laundry room. And there was this huge pile of laundry in this laundry room, massive. And all it said was, really, you think I had time to talk about life insurance? And that was a post on an Instagram. And it was so interesting to see that that post on a
Mm-hmm.
very small 200 and some odd follower Instagram account generated 17 leads,
Mm.
16 appointments kept,
Mm.
16 clients bought product, investment, and protection.
Yeah, those are great numbers.
That's crazy numbers, right? Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. Even back in the day of the 10-3-1, right? When that's how
Right.
old I am, but in training, right? It's make 10 appointments, 3 meetings will stick, one person will buy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it just shows it's about connecting, you're telling stories. And we're starting to finally realize that in our industry because we haven't done that very well in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, and advisors haven't been able to take advantage of new technology either because the whole compliance aspect, which we understand, but also we're always a little bit behind.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard, right? It's hard
Mm-hmm.
juggling so many different pieces
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many different parts that are actually in the way
Yeah.
that just happen. So is it the advisor's fault? Am I pointing fingers there? No, I'm not at all. It's nobody's fault. But it's
Mm-hmm.
so important of us as a collective to come together and say, okay, this is Callie's position.
Right.
This is
Right.
Kim's position, right? All of us playing the roles and positions and just openly saying, okay, as a collective, as a community, we can do this better because Mr. and Mrs. Advisor, you go do this amazing, incredible thing that you do, and
Right.
I'll go do the same thing and I'll help support you. So you
Right.
win first. So I win.
Yeah. So with this post that got 16 new clients, what makes you think that it wasn't just a one-off and that this strategy will work for all advisors?
Mm. So we tested I want to say 32 posts. I know it was at least 30 posts that we tested.
Yeah.
And it was funny stuff. It was heartwarming. It was all of these pieces. One post was about the top 5 most ridiculous things left in a will.
Mm.
Right. So it was 5 tiles or like a carousel tile of funny stories about one gentleman in the UK. And they were all true stories. One
Mm-hmm.
gentleman in the UK leaving 3,500 pounds. So all his
Mm.
buddies could go have a drink in the bar and celebrate him afterwards. Right. So like this is the real stuff. Like these
Yeah.
are the real conversations people have. One of the other funny requests that, and I personally was in it, was
Yeah.
when a grandmother found out that people are actually, or women are actually buried with their bra on. And grandma right away in the family meeting said, I want that in my will. Make sure that, I've got to wear that damn thing for 80 some years. No way am I going to live an eternity with it. So it's these funny conversations. And it's also the funny moments when we freeze.
My connection was lost. I was like, Kim's frozen. That means I'm frozen. Last I heard was the last I heard was bra.
I know. I think I just got edited. Sorry, excuse me. I'm just coming over a cold, so I apologize. But it's just the funny conversations that people have in real life, right? My parent company is called RST Private Planning Group. Like, that's my parent company. And it stands for really sucky things. So the tagline is real people having real conversations about the really sucky things. And it's my comical approach to helping people get over all of these bumps that we have that go along with the misunderstanding of financial services.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nobody goes and buys a financial plan. A business owner does not go buy a financial plan. A business owner goes and purchases something that will give them structure. That's what they're looking for. Right. So when you have conversation and you have lifestyle marketing talking to that need and that connection, they're like, you know what? I'm going to spend time with you. You've got it. You've got it. I don't want right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I recently changed on our homepage of our website to, are you tired of your mom being the only one to see your content? We also just got this a comment in. Oh, it's all about you, Kim. I'm gonna have to read this one. 27,000 coaching hours. Now my face is covered up, but over 2 decades, equates to 4 to 5 coaching sessions, 365 days a year, over a 20-year period. Very impressive, as I've yet to hear that number from other master coaches.
Thank you. Thank you. It's something I love. I've coached for a very, very long time. I've coached in athletics. I'm an NCCP level 3 coach. It's all of these things of coming together and coming forward with the right approach. Like, that's why my company is called the Approach Coaching Method, that my public facing brand is that everyone deserves their own defined approach, right? And when we're talking about marketing today and talking about the audience we're speaking to and this misunderstood word of niche, right? So when we misunderstand this word of niche, everyone's talking about niche down, niche down, niche down. Yeah. Okay, but let's finish that sentence. Yeah. Right? So we have all these catchphrases out there. Let's just add something to that sentence so it makes sense. So it's not niching down to 250,000 worth of investable assets, live in this zip code, all those things. It is a persona that you are talking to, an emotion at a certain point and place in time. And when you niche down into that persona, that person that you connect with, that you can have this lifestyle marketing conversation with, so that when they do get a hold of you, they feel like they know you already, right? Like, that's the incredible part. And then your message, when you are doing social media, when you are having conversations, you're actually niching out even more, so you can cast a wider net. But that net has specific holes in it, right? To catch the right client.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. It's way easier to talk to someone's where they are when you know who that person is. I see that like as the point of niching.
Yeah.
Niching.
Niching. Sorry, I'm Canadian, guys.
Which I guess that would be one of the biggest benefits of lifestyle marketing. What would you suggest, or where would you suggest advisors use lifestyle marketing?
So when we were kind of talking about the advisors wearing so many hats and so many things to do, so as soon as we have a conversation with an advisor saying, okay, you need to market, I don't see any of your emotional fingerprint on your
Mm-hmm.
digital footprint,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we kind of deviate back to the simplified of I'm just going to share my manufacturer or my distributor's content,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Right.
So it's it,
Easy.
it's so difficult, and that doesn't work. That is a complementary pieces.
Yeah.
So as I coach and all these pieces that come through, the reason I opened the approach is there's this massive gap missing.
Mm-hmm.
So what I coach on is truly helping them define all of these pieces in the unique value proposition of the pillars and intentions throughout the year. And
Mm-hmm.
then with that piece, I can go to one of my vetted professionals like yourself saying,
Right.
okay, Brian is looking for this type of client. You have this incredible document. Brian's feeling more comfortable understanding that this is a part that's going to evolve on.
Yeah.
And you are going to do the customized pieces. You have this document to pull things from.
Right.
But then Brian is going to show some extra lifestyle stuff.
Mm.
And so we have a resource that's coming through with all of these types of pieces with lifestyle content marketing that come within my cohorts of the approach. Or it's just even parts of showing your day to day.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm getting educated today. Look at me, I'm investing back. Here are my
Mm-hmm.
beautiful flowers in the background,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're looking for connection. And that's that biggest part of lifestyle content marketing is that last piece, that last cog in the wheel of
Right.
marketing,
Yeah.
because there's so many pieces in there.
Oh
It's that
yeah.
last piece that connects that circle,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
evolution, because it has to be a cycle. So it has to be stuff from your manufacturer or your distributor, right? It
Yeah.
has to be customized content marketing that we get from Cali. It has to
Right.
be lifestyle content marketing that attracts your ideal clientele and you have a conversation with them, you tell stories. It has to be giving an opportunity for you to engage and engage back, right? So
Mm-hmm.
marketing is so misunderstood and everyone puts this buzzword out there and it becomes so confusing, and our poor compliance people and all of this stuff. Listen to your compliance people,
Yeah.
because what they say is actually so true and so beneficial, because
Mm-hmm.
that's the stuff your clients don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
It has no
Okay,
place.
you mentioned, speaking of buzzwords, you mentioned pillar a few times.
Yeah.
What are you referring to when you say your pillars?
Okay.
Mhm.
So I believe in an annual plan and
Yeah.
I believe in a 5-year plan. So you have your big picture, your long-term goal. And for some reason, we focus and keep looking back on that long-term goal. And
Mm.
it doesn't work because it's such a big stretch and
Yeah.
life will change, right? Things will happen. But when you have that directional path that you want to go towards, your North Star, there's
Mhm.
incremental pieces and points that happen that build onto it. So, what are you doing day to day? What are you doing for the week? What are you doing for the month? What are you doing for the quarter? What are you doing for the year? And so, to help identify those pieces
Mhm.
within those years that go up to the 5-year plan, you have to have pillars of
Mm.
non negotiable actions that you
Mm.
need to take to hit your
Okay.
defined success in the 5 years.
Yeah.
So, it's breaking it down chunks by chunks of how are you attracting and retaining your ideal client in your target market beyond business as usual. What are
Mm.
your systems and processes? Who are on your teams? How are you ensuring that you are going to have financial growth and be profitable first, backing
Yeah.
it up with passion and purpose, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's these pillars that you have to go on, that you have no more than 3 non-negotiables per pillar so that you obtain that success and that you actually don't lose track and become overwhelmed.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. Pillars.
Yeah.
They uphold the business.
They do. They
Yeah.
do. They definitely do. So what happens when you get a coach with a marketing mind?
Have you seen any downsides to lifestyle marketing?
Yeah, I have. And I wouldn't call it a downside. I would call it, failures or some things that crash give you this incredible lesson,
Mm.
right? So a failure to me equals freedom eventually, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's that opportunity of helping you understand the client. The downside is within lifestyle content marketing is doing it before you are ready.
Mm.
So that's the part I don't want to call it a downside, but it's
Yeah.
that part of when we come into the industry or we're going to start showing up marketing, whatever way or venue we do, and we just take the advice of someone saying, okay, I've got to go hire Callie and she's going to create all these wonderful things for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Callie's sitting there going, well, who's your client? Who are we speaking to? What are we
Mm-hmm.
doing? Right. And
Yep.
that individual is so completely overwhelmed. And so you try to appease and you help each other. And there's this dance and this weird thing. There's this frustration. There's all these things. So that downside and why I've come and I've addressed that gap, which is continual, that you have to work on and evolve on, of
Yep.
that part of let's just start and understand who you are talking to. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you are going to go hire a marketing person or start doing content or all that kind of stuff, you're a high driven individual, right? You
Right.
want to do something, you want to show up, you right? So
Right.
it's never about you starting something. It's
Mm.
actually about you finishing something.
Mm.
So
Mm.
the thing that you actually need to start is to look for and actually ask for help.
Yeah.
And that part to ask and realize to have help is actually to have those failures because you
Mm.
wouldn't listen to Callie or Kim
Right.
in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
It's
I love
interesting. Yeah,
that.
it's very interesting.
What or how can advisors determine what lifestyle to sell? I mean, I guess this is going to come back to that niche, right? Or do
Yeah.
you have another method?
It's about telling a story, right? And let's look out of our industry.
Yeah.
And to help identify that your your niche or your niche say, I'll say it for everyone, I'll be bilingual today, to be able to say it and put it forward, you have to experiment again, right? So it's all of these pieces to come forward to. But my greatest tip in the beginning, when you are kind of dipping your toe in the waters and kind of testing it, is show up and share your opinion. Give your opinion about something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Business owners do not buy a financial plan,
Right.
right? They
Right.
buy structure.
Mm-hmm.
And then your next statement that you say is a because now you're taking your statement
Mm-hmm.
and you're backing it up with your facts that you're about to bring forward,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it's because they want to optimize their business or whatever they mean to do. And then the last part that you bring forward is a call to action. And it's not the call to action that is absolute garbage that the gurus say out there of DM me or click my
Right.
link in the bio. Nobody cares about that. That does nothing. The
Right.
call to action is you actually giving them an action to take so that they win first,
Mm.
right?
I've heard that
So,
same thing when I was going through some
mm,
speaking classes. They say to do
yeah.
that exact thing at the end of your presentation.
Yeah, it's that part of they have to win first. How do
Yeah.
you become memorable, right?
Yeah.
Is it I got to go remember to click on Callie's link, or did
Right.
Callie say at that end of the statement of what would you do, Kim, with an extra $40,000 a year in your business?
Mm-hmm.
You said nothing
Mm-hmm.
about my taxes or saving tax
Mm-hmm.
or investing or rates of return or coverage or protection. You
Mm-hmm.
made me think about what would I do with an extra $40,000 a year? And
Yeah.
I'd start watching and you're making bingeable content, right? So
Right.
it's that lifestyle stuff. So when you connect it all together, you're sharing stories, you're finding common ground. And then the other part is when you're bringing in canned content, right,
Mm-hmm.
from your agencies, is
Mm-hmm.
you're creating credibility, you're creating
Mm-hmm.
trust, right?
Right.
Affiliations that you have, right? Consistency. It's going to help you do that. And then when you have intent behind it, and that intent has to be rooted in the client needs to win first
Mm.
because that's abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And people can read your energy, let it be copy, content, video, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Through. Comes through. Yeah.
Now, Kim, you primarily coach advisors about how to develop their business and self, right?
Yeah.
How did you
Mhm.
stumble into creating content for a client?
So it's that part of I had this business plan for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it is also my pillars within my business and
Mm.
having passive incomes and pieces that all actually connect.
Yeah.
Because the end of one goal is always the beginning of the next.
Mm.
So when I have these pieces and these pillars, like the place I'm sitting in right now, This is the first of the advisor resource centered retreat, where advisors come
Mm-hmm.
in and do 3 days worth of business planning, where leadership comes in and does that, where podcasts are going to be recorded, where a
Mm,
TV show is about to be filmed next year about telling the story of financial services that I've
right.
decided to do. So it's that part of, how do you bring all these pieces together? How do you bring the collective together? And what part am I really good at? And
Yeah.
it is that lifestyle, because I teach business owners
Mm-hmm.
how to have that lifestyle, the high driven, overachieving
Mm-hmm.
business owners, right?
Yeah.
The ones that always ask, how can I do this better? Not
Yeah.
I can do this better, right? It's how can I do this
Right.
better? And
Yes.
so when you bring them all together, you also have to go test things to back
Mm.
up, to show up with confidence and competence.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just always been really good at lifestyle marketing, having that connection with people. So
Yeah.
why not give advisors that toolkit to help them
Mm-hmm.
have some inspiration to
Mm-hmm.
get their own voice, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you've mentioned this office space a couple of times.
Yeah.
Tell us about it,
Yeah.
because you've got a new service, or actually a new set of services, really. So,
Yeah.
what are
Yeah.
you bringing to the community?
Hmm. This is that part. I've been on some podcasts and some
Yeah.
conversations, and some people have misunderstood my statement.
Mm,
And it was my statement of, when I left the corporate side, when I left senior management,
mhm,
I didn't come back into the corporate side because I had a pit in my stomach, right? I
mm,
knew that the change that needed to come forward in the industry, I couldn't do it from a boardroom table.
yeah.
And the misunderstanding is that I don't like the industry, or I'm done, or I'm
Oh,
fed up, or I'm
yeah.
or I'm doing the hold my beer. I'm
Yeah.
not. Right? This is that part of a couple of decades, 27,000 coaching hours, right? Having crazy 16-hour days, having to log all
Mm,
these things, all these pieces give me an incredible insight to the
yeah.
carrier side, the manufacturer side, the advisor side, and then people like you who support.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it's so many different pieces that have to come together, and what you are doing. So
Mm,
when building this out, I knew that this was my place. I
mm,
love the financial services so much. I picked up the phone and
mm.
helped the clients that were having trouble with their advisors. I got to listen to what their problems and troubles were, and the advisor side, right? And there's always three sides of the story, right? So
Mm.
having all this information, having all those interviews, it's that part of, I'm crazy enough, number one, to do this. Number two, I love this industry so much, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
My conversation with my mom was
Mhm,
about this funny story about, if she died before my father, I
mhm.
needed to promise to go take her ashes and spread it across his yard so she could haunt him like a Disney villain for the rest of his days, right? Like like that's conversation about money.
Right.
I've seen so many people show up and say GoFundMe's not a life insurance policy or protection. I'm going, there's a better way to say it.
Mhm.
Sometimes our passion shames people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, how can I repeatedly have the funds myself to be able to hold it out and stick out and
Mhm,
plan to
mhm.
take this time to do something really different? There's nothing like what I'm building in the industry. There's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, bringing it all together and taking that time and planning
Yeah.
takes a lot.
Yeah.
Takes a lot. Yeah.
When will this be coming to fruition?
Oh, so the office itself will open up on just before 2/4, May 2/4 weekend. And then we start launching a whole bunch of retreats. And the best way to
Mhm,
find is follow me on LinkedIn,
mhm.
or follow me on Instagram if you're on there. I'm very active on LinkedIn and Instagram, and we'll be announcing a lot of the pieces, because we
Mm.
have tap in cohorts. So
Yeah.
one is Business Accelerator, which is an accountability one that's ongoing. We have the business essentials, where I can teach you in a group setting on how to do your unique value proposition, or all those things.
Mm. Yeah.
And then we also have business breakthroughs, where we bring everybody in. So there's
Mhm,
so many things going on, and the
mhm,
best way is to follow me or go onto my
mhm,
website, the Approach Coaching Method, because
mhm.
everything will be on media, and we'll keep bringing people in, and we'll keep kind of bringing it
Yeah.
in bite by bite and piece by piece. And my last final great exciting piece is the community well that I'm building, right?
Mm,
I am a
mhm.
really good business coach for the right person.
Yeah.
And with that, I want to bring in amazing experts like yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So this last little piece that's coming in is that part of we actually have a business concierge where advisors will come and have a conversation with them, and we put them
Right.
in the right place, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's so much going forward, and it's all about giving advisors a resource that they need to help find the right path so that they don't waste any more time, any more dollars, any more frustration.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
As they do in the theater industry, but you can't see my hands. I'm applauding you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the retreat space is going to be in Canada, is that right?
It is. It is. It's in in a town called Owen Sound. We laugh and we call it the noise. So we've got a 1,260 square foot loft space here. It's absolutely beautiful on the shores of Georgian Bay. So it's hiking, it's really good food, it's really good content, it's very good conversation. And you come and you walk away with it all done. Your videos, your headshots, your marketing plans, your business plans, your action plans. And I'm bringing in vetted experts such as yourself, Matt Halloran, Derek Pollard. So this is that part of this community all coming together to do what we do well as the experts. And we talk to advisors a lot about teaming, right? And teaming is the way, and it's the new buzzword. We need to team too as external services to help complement what the manufacturers and the distribution is doing, because there's only so many people. I came from that world, and I know it's not scalable. It burns you out.
Yeah.
Right? So where do we go, and who takes care of the advisor that is asking, how can I do this better?
Yeah.
And it's bringing the community well and bringing everyone together, and to come hike and be in the most beautiful part of the world and eat some really good food and walk away from a conference or a retreat having everything done. Like, sign me up. Sign me up.
Right? I want some good food and hiking.
See? Yes. It's great. It's amazing. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. So for everyone watching, make sure you go follow Kim on LinkedIn and Instagram. And you can also visit her website, The Approach Method.
Yes. Yes.
Got it. Awesome. This was so great. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you. Thank you. You're such a light. You always smile all the time and put me in wonderful moods. So now I have to go clean and paint and do all that stuff. So thank you. It was a joy.
You're welcome.
Okay. See you, everybody.
So for those watching, are you looking to revamp your website with lifestyle marketing or create new? Look no further. We offer both custom websites and content plans to take your marketing from meh to hell yeah. So scan that QR image. Speaking of content, did you know that we send a newsletter every Thursday, chock full of content to keep you savvy about marketing? For instance, we talked about having Kim on A.U.M. this week. You might have missed it, but no longer. Newsletter, and you should sign up and get our updates. Join us next Monday to talk about making money human again with Ross Marino of Advisor 2X and the founder of the conference Shift. I think it will complement this A.U.M. very well. And until Monday, have a great week.